I'm starting a new project. In this video, I'll outline my plans and goals. Hi, I'm Kazul and welcome to my lair. Now, I think a lot of you very correctly pointed out that I was a little burnt out in a video that I made about a year ago, seen here. And yeah, you're correct. I was. And I've really taken some serious time to reevaluate my life and my goals with Kazplay and this channel and, balancing being a mom at the same time. So I think I really started to lose sight of what I wanted with this channel. I got too caught up in hustle culture. I was really into watching like all those entrepreneur advice videos about like, oh, you got to do this and get sponsorships to be successful on YouTube. And it was causing me a lot of stress. And, along with the fact that I'm a mom now and I don't have a whole bunch of time to make content. I was putting a lot of unnecessary pressure on myself. So I've been focusing lately on scaling back and trying to figure out what I really want for this channel and my life again. So reducing like my overall stress in all things of life, not just this, and trying to find the fun again. I'd really like to give a shout out to this video by Chewbecca Handmade. It really embodies the feeling of why I started this channel in the first place and what I want to capture. So you should definitely go check out that video. Because it all boils down to the fact that I want to make cool things and I want to share that with other people, like things that I'm excited about. I love sharing that with people, and hopefully, somebody will get inspired to start creating and building and having fun like I do. So that's the goal, and so going forward, I want to just show things as I can. I'm not going to concentrate on trying to keep it like super curated or super consistent, kind of. But I mean, if I'm being honest, like I didn't have a whole lot of time when I was building Hogger either. I had a full-time job and, so did my husband. So we had to like concentrate on a lot of chores and stuff after. And I think the content that I made when I was building Hogger was some of the best that I've ever done. So I want to like capture that of just being like, hey, I'm building this cool project. Let me take you along the way. So that's what I'm going to do. Another thing I want to give a shout out to was Anthro Northwest. I was able to go to their convention in November of 2021, and it was the first convention I'd been to. Well, with all the COVID things, it was like a lot of people's first convention back anyways, but it was a little more for me because, I had been pregnant and very sick before that and then had a baby. And so I hadn't gone on any sort of vacation or to any conventions for 3 years or more. I think the last one I went to was in the summertime of 2019 and I was pregnant and miserable, so it wasn't that fun or very vacation-y. Anyways, it was a little stressful to leave my child with grandma and go away because it was the first time leaving her for an extended period. But it all went well and it was really fun. And I think it was like the first furry convention that I genuinely enjoyed for a really long time. I wasn't really stressed about, having to make all the money that I needed to at my table to pay for the convention. And I wasn't, cause we budgeted for it and considered it a vacation. I wasn't stressed with a bunch of things because I'd already trying to like reduce my stress. And it was just really exciting to talk shop with other people who like to build stuff. You know, there was lots of people come up to me and they would show me their cool new thing that they built, and it was so exciting. And I was talking about my plans for cool new things that I wanted to build. And you know, maybe some videos in the future I'll make about the cool boingy tails that I found that are just like super fun. So I had a lot of fun. It kind of reignited my love of that fandom. It was where I met my husband after all. And so yeah, it was just a really good time. So the project that I'm working on building is new fursuits for my husband and I. We haven't had new ones of our personal characters for a really long time. I'll show you. This is Frosty. He's been in a couple of my videos. This suit is like 12 years old now. My husband commissioned this from a maker that went by the name Surf Cat Costumes before we had met, and then he got it like shortly after we started dating. So yeah, very old costume, and it's time for an update. Here's mine, the Gryphon Kazul, and I built this in 2011, 2012, sometime around there, shortly after we got married. And it was my second fursuit that I ever built. It's really gross inside because it's just, I don't know if you can see that, it's just raw foam. There's no lining at all. But I don't know, she's due for an update because my skills have grown immensely since then. And I've always put off this project for a long time. I'm not sure if I was just scared to tackle it and I just told myself I didn't have time or what. But I've started out planning these new suits for us with mini sculpts, as I always do. So I'm gonna bring the camera in a little closer so we can like get a closer look, and I'll tell you my plans and ideas that I have and things that I wanna try. And hopefully you'll find it interesting. So I first started out by doing some draw-overs of some orthographic pictures that I have. And if you don't have them already, just having some really nice orthographic pictures of yourself on hand to just draw over whenever you feel the inspiration hit is really useful. Here's a Punished Props video about how to go about getting those pictures. Anyways, these are the drawovers that I did at first. And you can see I was just trying to do the digigrade look. It does have the hips dropped a bit on this one, but the legs, when I started to draw the side view of these characters, those leg shapes weren't working. You see, I'm trying to do the small foot, but there was like a big chunk of my leg that I would have to cut off to be able to fit into this skinny of a shape. So I decided to try again and see what I could do with just like maybe the traditional digigrade look. And, you know, I wasn't really feeling it. It was okay, but I wasn't really feeling those leg shapes. So I took another stab at it and decided to try drawing a plantigrade look, which I ended up really liking. You can see this superimposed over me to kind of get the rough size. And you can see that the head is large. The feet are, the heel is on the ground, so it's a plantigrade look. And here is Frosty. Now, the next step of this was to sculpt this so I could get a better sense of the volumes that I would be needing to work with. So drawovers are great for the initial idea, but for me, I really like to go the extra step and sculpt out the concept because it really helps you feel the dimensionality of what you're going to be building. Okay, here's the progress on my mini sculpts. Now I started out on these base resin figures that I made. I sculpted this myself from hand and cast it in resin. They're available in my Etsy shop if you want to use this method yourself. But I started out, I actually sculpted on both sides. I just cut it away, and I'll tell you why later. But anyway, so here's Frosty. Get a little closer. See a little bit of his head and his leg. So the high concept idea is that I wanted to capture a more like old school Disney, like Robin Hood or Zootopia kind of style. And not that I have any particular love for Disney, it's just that I really like that sort of more animal than human anthro form. So, particularly with the legs. Now, the furries are great at the digitigrade padding, where, you know, they pad a little bit in front of the thigh and on the back of the calf, and it makes it look like a bent animal back leg. And that looks great. My problem with it is when the person who's in the costume starts walking, because that instantly breaks the illusion for me, because you know, where the human knee isn't where the bend in the illusion knee is, and it just doesn't work. So I wanted to go with a, I guess what you would call a plantigrade style look, where the heel of the animal or the character is on the ground. So it makes it like a foot, like a human foot. Anyways, that makes it so that the knee of the character matches up with the knee of the person, and hopefully, I'm hoping, I don't know, I'm hoping that will create a better walking illusion. Now you can see this, the body of Frosty goes down quite a bit farther than the human hips. So the hips are dropped down quite a ways. And this is notorious for restricting your movement. Like, you would have to waddle more like a penguin if this is too much. So this is like pretty close to the knees. So I got to be careful in, you know, my allowances and seams in the middle to see if I can get a little bit more flexibility out of that. This also presents a challenge for the tail. So here's Frosty's tail. I let my daughter sculpt on it. She called it a moon lollipop. Isn't that cute? Anyways, so that presents a problem, because normally you'd like hang the tail from the person's hips, so it has a nice firm connection, like especially if you want any tail that defies gravity, like I would want for this tail. And being quite large, it needs like a very secure base. But instead of like connecting that to the hips, I would have to drop that down as well to make it look natural for the character. So that'll be a problem that I'll have to solve, is spanning that distance with something solid to be able to support a tail like this. But also with the head, like with all my cosplay work, I've fallen in love with vision through the mouth. So this sculpt version has the mouth closed, but I'm working on another one that'll have the mouth open. So you can see the eyes about in the middle of this head don't exactly line up with the eyes of the character. So there won't be any vision through these eyes. It'll be primarily through the mouth and nose, which will be open, like I said. So those are some things, like you see how big this head is going to be compared to this, but it makes it so that it's proportional to the rest of the character body. This is like on one of my quarter scale busts, still work in progress, trying to figure out the forms, and I'll have the mouth open. Now, when it comes to Kazul, you see she has two tails, so that'll still be a problem with her. And I'm planning on bulking out her chest quite a bit, because I imagine, because one of the things I wanted with her is I wanted giant wings. So I have this to kind of show the size of the wing I want. And any creature with wings has like got to have beefy chest muscles to be able to flap said wings. So I'm building out her chest like that to be more proportional. These wings, I'm not planning on articulating them at all. They'll just be sort of static in this position. And they probably will move a little side to side like this, depending on how I construct them. I have an idea, and that would allow for that movement just naturally. But I just have always loved the look of big wings, and the one thing I wanted was the wing to flow right into this top tail, which is like a bird tail feather. So from the back, it'll look like more bird-like. Anyways, so that's that. So I will have to, I have an idea for how to build a harness structure. I kind of started this on Hogger, where I built a structure that really gripped me around my chest and shoulders, my whole torso, sort of like a backpacking rig that will be able to support this no problem. And I've built some other wings, and was happy with like the very small and light version of this that I'm going to try. And so I'm going to just try to beef up that, and it will have to be beefy. I will use all my knowledge and skills to make these wings as light as possible, but they're very large, so they will be heavy, no matter what. So that's the plan with that. With Kazul, I've gotten a little farther on her head sculpt. You can see the mouth open. You can't see really inside, but I've been like working on carving my way into the head to like try to find the eyes. But that'll give me a lot of good vision down and out. I always have found that bothersome on fursuits, that where you're walking vision is very restricted, because you have like that huge blind spot like right down between your face where the muzzle is if you're looking out to the eyes. So looking down, it was like on my Arakoa cosplay, like I much preferred looking at people's feet when developing a performance, because then I could more easily tell where I was moving, and you can tell better where people will move to based on their feet, and you won't trample children, which is a quite common occurrence in regular fursuits, because you just can't see down. It's so annoying. So anyway, so I'm a big fan of mouth vision, so it will be out of the mouth. And I will be happy about that. So you can see her cute face. Now, I guess I didn't really address it. I did start out by sculpting both sides of this to kind of get the legs looking like I wanted to from front and side. And then I decided to cut off half of it when I was done with the sculpt. Just so I could see, like, better see and visualize how much I would need to build out away from my body on all these different parts. So, I mean, and I will be using these scale models, because this is about, I think it was 1/8 or 1/6 scale, probably 1/8, because they're smaller. So I will be taking the pattern directly off this and scaling it up to make my patterns. So that'll help these sculpts, and in the process of taking those patterns, these sculpts will get a little hurt. So you can see them now in their more pristine shapes or work in progress states, as Frosty's head is. And then when I take the patterns, I will be mutilating the sculptures a little bit. I've taken lots of photos of them, so it'll be okay. Let me see if there's anything that I missed. The dropped legs, the knees lining up, the toes. Oh, I wanted to keep the feet a little bit on the smaller side. I may go back and make Kazul's feet a little smaller because they are quite long. And I don't want them long like some kangaroos that I built a long time ago. But they're almost seeming that long in this sculpt. So yeah, some of my goals, I wanted to keep the feet smaller, which that might be silly. I don't know. that's kind of silly. I wanted big wings on Kazul. I wanted a plantigrade look that kind of captures that Robin Hood or more animal than human style. I wanted mouth vision so that I could have some more freedom with the expression and the shape position of the eyes. So yeah, I think that covers all my plans and goals. I've already started the process by building myself a duct tape dummy, and you can see that video as the previous one. And that's all for now. So I hope you enjoyed a look at my next project and my plans and ideas. I know that, the project may change, or probably will change and evolve along the way as I go. But it's really important to me to kind of outline my why and like my goals for what I want. And if I can keep those high level concepts, why I'm doing this, then like any changes that I have to make along the way will still be consistent with my vision, I feel. So let me know your thoughts, and thanks for watching. I'm Kazul, reminding you to embrace your inner beast.